Hello, everyone. Welcome to Kiki and Kibitz. It's me, Mary, and I'm here tonight with Monday Night Madness, 90 Day Fiancé, B90, recap, and a little bit of tea for your evening. Season 7, Episode 11, The Fault in Our Stars. Now, if I was going to give this episode a grade, I would give it a solid B. Um, as usual, Renee acted out, but I'm happy that Chidi stood his ground. I'll get into that in a second. We got to meet a new couple. Honestly, I'm exhausted. I mean, we're just getting to know these couples, and now we have a new one. But the food looked really fucking good. I'll get into that in a second. Just letting you guys get into the room. I hope everyone had a great Monday. Mine was kind of busy. I cleaned as I usually do on Mondays. Then I went off to the gym because I really have to stick to my gym routine. I'm going on a family trip to Aruba next month on the 18th. So I need to make sure I fit into my summer clothes. So I'm just trying to stick to my gym routine. So I went to the gym today. And I hope everybody had a good Monday. So let's get right into this episode recap because that's what you guys are here for. Thank you for everybody in the chat that's joining me. And okay, let's get right into this. So, first of all, we have Adnan and Tiger Lily. These two, I have to have like toothpicks to keep my eyes open when I'm watching them. Okay, so she's happy now because he apologized to her last episode. So now he's taking her on a surprise. He has a wonderful surprise in plan for her, and they're gonna go to the Grand Market. And was this a fucking grand market or what, guys? They had everything and anything you could ever want in there. I want to go to that grand market. That grand market looks the bomb. Okay. But Tiger Lily's a fucking idiot. And I will tell you why in a second. So Adnan is like, I thought taking her to the shop would be a great idea because there's nothing my wife loves more than a great shop. But of course, don't you know that you have to wear a pair of 15-inch heels when you go sightseeing? And gym shoes are only for the gym? My sweet dear Tiger Lily, you have a lot to learn. And you know what's funny is that she's a mom of little boys, and she says things like this, that gym shoes are just for the gym. Okay, girl. So her feet are absolutely killing her because she's wearing like 15-inch heels. It's so bad that he has to carry her down a flight of stairs. She can't even fucking walk. I mean, look at the size of those fucking heels. So not only they have to find her a new pair of shoes, they apparently have to find her something else to wear because she can't take off her jacket. He's like, "No, baby, you can't take your jacket off in here." And she's like, "What do you mean? I'm like so hot." And he's like, "No, baby, I don't like you taking off your jacket. This is like a dirty place. This is a dirty place. So you're not allowed to take your jacket off here because what you're wearing underneath is too tight." And Tiger Lily's like, "Great. So not only are my feet going to fall off, I'm going to suffer from heat stroke." And he couldn't give a shit because it's all about his wants and his needs. And it's like, "Yeah, girl, you just figured that out? Okay." So they leave the market, and he has another wonderful surprise for her. He rented a boat. Okay. The boat's name is Positive, which I found so fucking ironic. Okay. So, the first thing she was trying to talk to him about was she's like, "I want to understand more about your religion because it's very confusing to me. Um it seems like there's a lot of double standards. So I want to clarify about the clothing and how covered up I need to be. So let me just pull up my notes for a second. So Adnan compares Tiger Lily to a plate of food. How? Okay. So he says, imagine you had some food that wasn't covered properly and it was just left out there. And some stranger came by and ate from that food. Would you want to eat from that food? I'm like, huh? Tiger Lily's like, are you comparing me to a plate of food? And I'm like, in my head, yeah, girl, he is, because that's basically all you are. It's like property to him. I'm like, girl. So now she has another question about his religion. Male doctors. Okay. She needs to know about this thing with male doctors. So he says, if it's a necessity, he'll deal with her having a male doctor if it's something, that she really needs. You know what I mean, guys? But a chiropractor is not a doctor. This is what Adnan says, not me. A chiropractor is not a doctor. So she can't have a man chiropractor because he won't be able to deal with the thought that this man has his hands all over her 2-3 times a week more than he does. He's living in another country and there's this random dude who in his eyes is not a doctor, but we know chiropractors are doctors, is putting his hands all over his wife. So that, no male chiropractors. So Tiger Lily agrees to, compromise. No male chiropractors. She'll just do a female chiropractor. But now, this is the third issue that's really bothering her. And at this point, he just wants her to shut the fuck up. She doesn't understand the double standard of swimwear on the beach. Why she has to be completely covered up and he can walk around in his tidy whities and it's fine. And she's like, I want you to put on a shirt. If I have to wear a shirt, if I have to be covered up on the beach, I want you covered up on the beach and in the water. And he's like, no, I don't have to do that. My religion says that I don't have to do that. And she's like, it is not about your religion. It's about you respecting me as your wife. And if I have to cover myself up, you have to cover yourself up too. And at this point, he just wants to shut her up. He even admits it in his confessional. He told her, yes, that he was going to wear a shirt in the water just to shut her up. So we see how much he respects her in this relationship. Just saying. So if you guys are interested in Tiger Lily's 15-inch heels or her sunglasses, she posted them to her story today. So you could have her 15-inch heels for $975 or her sunglasses for $990. If you know anybody on your Christmas list that wants 15-inch uncomfortable heels, there you go. So now, moving on to Veah and Sunny, who are starting to be in the same category as Tiger Lily and Adnan are, like having to hold my eyes open watching them. But she goes to meet his friends, and this scene was actually hysterical. Okay. His friends were looking at her like she was an alien from another planet, like her and Renee should be besties or something. They were looking at her like, what in the white chick is this? So she, attempts to play a game of cricket with him and his friends, and she really sucked at it. Sunny even said so. And then Sunny's friend, Ali, his roommate, started giving her the third degree, like a good roommate should, and a good bestie should. So, first he was like, does she know that she has to be Muslim to be with you? And Sunny's like, well, I didn't tell her that because I just want to concentrate on our relationship and just concentrate on us for now, and we'll deal with the religion thing later. And Ali's like, and she has to be Muslim. This is not going to work if she's not Muslim. So Vea's like, I kind of feel blindsided by this. What else could Sunny be hiding from me? Excuse me, this is coming from the person who brought her ex with her to South Africa and basically was like, dude, go hide in the corner in the airport so Sunny doesn't see you. Are you kidding me? Okay, so anyway, Ali goes on to Sunny explained to Ali what happened with the whole Rory situation. And Ali turns to Veah and he's like, why did you even bother to come to see Sunny if you were going to bring your ex? So Ali's not getting a good vibe from Veah. And he's like, I don't think this is going to work out between them at all. What are you going to do when you go see Sunny's parents? Are you going to cover up your tattoos? Are you going to cover yourself up? She doesn't want to be Muslim. Ali doesn't see this working out in the future. So in the car, on the way back to the hotel, Veah was telling Sunny that she felt attacked, that she felt, being come at by Ali in a way. And she was kind of blindsided because she didn't know that religion was so important that she had to be Muslim to be with him. And do I have to be Muslim to be with you, Sunny? And he just brushes the question underneath the rug. He gives the same answer he gave to Ali. I want to work on our relationship first and see what happens with our relationship, and then we deal with the religion issue. No, you have to deal with the religion issue, Sunny. You just can't brush it under the rug. You have to deal with it sooner or later. Okay? Sooner the better. Not for nothing. Religion is a huge factor in relationships, especially when it comes to the future children that may or may not come out of a relationship. So religion is huge. So anyway, they go back to the hotel and they've been under a lot of stress. Guys, a lot of stress between the Rory situation and his friends making her feel uncomfortable. There's nothing like taking stress out than taking a nice swim in the pool and floating around, hanging on to each other, kissing in the pool. Nothing like, a couple of sneaky kisses in the pool to get some stress out. And then they go back to the room and then they finally get to take a shower in person. They would take showers on video calls, but this is their first time they took a shower in person. So as I'm watching them in the shower, getting hot and heavy before, the camera guy closes the door, I'm thinking to myself, Sunny, are you one of those Muslims? Because we have a Muslim like Adnan who had to marry Tiger Lily before he would even kiss her, hold her hand, be in the same room with her, etc. And then you have a Muslim like Sunny who is in the shower with Veah, who would take, naughty video calls with Veah. I had a friend many years ago. Unfortunately, she passed in 2020 of cancer. She used to be with a guy, and I remember he was one of those Muslims. He was sitting in the backyard at a barbecue, and this was the first time we met him. I had no idea he was Muslim. He had a blunt in one hand and a glass of Hennessy in the other hand. We offered him a pork chop, and he flipped the fuck out. He said, I don't eat that shit. I'm Muslim. And I looked at him like, you have a blunt, you have alcohol. Okay. So I have a feeling, Sunny is one of those Muslims because they got freaky deaky in the pool and freaky deaky in the shower. I mean, so anyway, now remember why Veah explained that there was beef between Rory and Sunny? Because Rory went on Sunny's social media and was trolling him under some of his selfies and stuff. I'm going to be horrible when I say this, but I kind of understand why Rory did it, because Sunny loves himself a good selfie. He loves himself a good selfie, and I could see why Rory had to be kind of be like a troll. So I could see it. I could see it though. So moving on, we have Joe. He's new. If you're wondering, who the fuck is Joe? Did I miss him? No, he's new. Okay. Another new couple. I need a new couple like a hole in my head at this point. Okay. But so we have Joe. He's an Italian from New Jersey, currently living in Florida. He goes home for Father's Day, and the meal that they're cooking made my mouth fucking water. His girl is Magda from Poland. Okay. And how did he meet Magda? Well, he was on a video call with one of his friends who was in Miami, and he saw Magda in the background. His friend passed the phone over to her because she was driving and whatever. And him and Magda had a conversation. It turned out that she is from Poland. She was only visiting Miami at that time, and she was going back to the airport as they spoke. So Joe was like, I didn't think I was ever going to see her again, but she never left my mind. She never left my mind. And I decided, to send her a message, and they have been talking for 5 months. So he explains to his family that Magda was a correction officer, but she quit her job. She wants to come to the US, get married, and have babies ASAP. That is her plan. And his family's like, don't you think that's a little bit of a red flag? That, she wants marriage, baby, ASAP. Like, and he's like, well, not everybody could be like my parents. My parents dated for 11 years. I'm going to go to Poland and we'll see what happens. But if everything is to happen on Magda's timeline, I would have to propose to her on this trip. And you know something? I don't think I'm ready. And this is the face that you make when you realize you don't think you're ready for this shit and you might have dug yourself into a hole. So he's a real estate agent. Okay. He makes a pretty good, decent, he makes a pretty good, decent living. So it turns out that he's in deep, deep dog shit with Magda because she stopped talking to all the men in her life. She cut everybody off for him, and he didn't. And the last time he slept with someone was 2 months ago. But he says that it was a miscommunication. He didn't realize that Magda cut off all the men, and he was supposed to cut off the woman. So when Magda asked him a couple of days ago, when was the last time he slept with somebody? And he said, 2 months ago. That didn't go over really well with her. Okay, she was like, So she's like, we need to talk. We have things to talk about. So he's like, okay. He's having a pool party with his friends. And he tells his friends, including Jill, who is his ex, they dated 6-7 years ago. The relationship lasted less than a year. But, he's still good friends with one of his exes. She's in his friend circle. He tells all of them about, how he technically cheated on Magda and she's not happy with him. And they're like, well, what do you think her response is going to be, realizing that you're friends with Jill still? And he's like, well, I didn't tell her because I didn't think it was such a big deal. I think she's going to flip the fuck out. I really, really do. His friends are not very optimistic about all of this. They're kind of worried. So he's getting ready to go to the airport and he's in the drugstore picking up some last minute things: toothbrush, toothpaste, floss, mouthwash, condoms. Magda says, no, no condoms. You don't need condoms. I'm not sleeping with you until I get to the US. He's like, what? She's like, yeah, I don't trust you. I'm not sleeping with you until I get to the US. And to him, is this another red flag? Like, now it's basically the nails in the coffin. It's like, okay, you want sex? I have to come to the US first. You knock me up, you marry me, I get my citizenship, and there we go. So, 4 hours later, no, I'm sorry, 4 hours until Joe's flight. Joe, hello, Joe. It's Matt Sharp Entertainment. Joe, hello. Joe's flight to Poland leaves in 3 hours. He hasn't responded to calls or texts from production all morning. Joe, it's Matt Sharp Entertainment. Open up. No response. No response. Did Joe realize that he wasn't going to get the nookie and decided to cancel his flight and ghost everyone? Is that what really happened? I don't know, but we shall find out next week. So now moving on to my favorite couple, Matilda and Niles. So Matilda is basically she's happy that her family accepted Niles and accepted the fact that they're not getting married on this trip. But Matilda wants to make sure that he comes back for her and he's not going to embarrass her and really disgrace her. And Niles is like, I promise you, I am coming back. And we all know he's coming back, but it's just going to be a matter of when he's coming back. And that's going to be the drama. If I could foresee the future between Matilda and Niles, that is going to be the major source of their drama, is when he is coming back due to finances. So Matilda wants to go back to her house today because she hasn't had time to spend with her family. So she takes Niles back to the house, and Niles goes on the grand tour on the inside. Now, we all know that Niles is autistic, and sometimes he could be extremely blunt. He's walking around, he's looking at the shower, he's looking at the bedroom that Matilda shares with 3 of her siblings, where they cook, where they store the plantains that they sell for their family business. And he says to Matilda that it reminds him of a prison cell. That if the walls were not blue and if they were gray, it would be like a prison cell. And Matilda's like, now he's being insulting. Now, he's way too blunt. He's way too blunt. So all I have to say is Matilda has strong ass neck muscles. Look at that. She is carrying that basket of plantains on her head like nobody's business. So when Niles is going with her to help her sell the fried plantains and the crushed nuts, family business. And you have to have a sexy voice when you're shouting out in the market roasted plantains and ground nuts. Well, Niles is far from being sexy. Okay, far from being sexy. So Um, Matilda explains to him what he said about her house really hurt her feelings. And if her mother was passing by or one of her siblings overheard her, it would really hurt their feelings too. And Niles apologized. And he said the one thing that he loves about her the most is that she is willing to take the effort to teach him how to treat her. Because of his autism, it's really hard for him to navigate, these things. So that's the one of the things that he loves about Matilda the most is that she's patient enough and willing to teach him. And that makes my heart so warm. I'm telling you, I love this couple. I really do. So they go out for a drink with her brother and her friend. And she was joking that he wasn't very sexy selling the roasted plantains and the nuts. And they were talking about the knock door ceremony because the knock door ceremony is turning into a huge thing. There's going to be at least 90 people, if not more. Okay. They're going to need money from Niles for the food because the food's going to cost a pretty penny. And Matilda's family doesn't have that pretty penny. So Niles is like, oh boy, this trip is and everything is becoming a lot more expensive than I thought it would. The expenses are racking up. So now it turns out that they need someone to represent Niles's family at the knock door ceremony, or this is really not going to work out. Now, unfortunately, Niles's parents do not approve of this relationship at all. They think Matilda's taking advantage of him. Okay. They don't approve, and Matilda is holding out that they might approve, but Niles is like, no, this is not going to work. So we need someone to represent Niles's father at the knock door ceremony. So this is where Mr. Ark comes into play. Who is Mr. Ark? He is a community elder who has a center for disabled people nearby. Niles and him connected and a friendship blossomed. So he's going to talk to Mr. Ark. The knock door ceremony's on Saturday, so they're running out of time, and see if he could get him to stand up as a representative for Niles's family at the knock door ceremony. Now Matilda says Mr. Ark is a little bit strange dude, okay, and he's been rude to me in the past, so I'm afraid that this may not work out, but I'm just gonna hope. So now I did a little research, guys, okay, to see what's involved with a knock door ceremony and what's on a list, what's typically on the list required by the bride's family. So the knocking fee, guys, is, pull this up here, is 300 GHC plus 2 bottles of snaps. Okay. Now I have the conversions here. So 200 in their money is $12 in American dollars. Okay. So he would also need to give the father 200 GHC plus 1 bottle of schnapps and cloth gift, full piece. The mother gets 200 GHC plus a cloth gift, half piece. So the mom would get $12 and the father would get $30 in American dollars. And then we have the acceptance fee of $50, salt money for the aunties, 200, brother-in-law's 200, Um, bride price is 500, and then there's a list of things for the bride, including a suitcase, a Bible and ring, 6 pieces of cloth, 6 pants, necklace and earrings, wristwatch, brassieres, underwears, and vests, etc., shoes and sandals, and handbag. Basically, a whole wardrobe. Um, Food is a central part of Ghanaian wedding traditions, and a large spread of multiple dishes is customary. Some traditional Ghanaian wedding foods include banks and grilled fish, red beans and fish stew with fried plantain, roast goat, roast ripe plantain, and jollof rice. In the traditional Ghanaian weddings, the bride's family is responsible for paying for the wedding and reception. So, as for the average cost of food, it could be 30 GHS to 150 GHS per person. Okay, overall price could be 3,000 to 1,500. So here I have the conversions for you guys. So as you can see, the payment to the father-in-law is $500, which is $30 in American money. Matilda's father passed away, so obviously there wouldn't be a payment to her father, but maybe a father figure in the family. The payment to her mother is basically $12 in our money, US dollars. Um, the total possible cost of a traditional wedding on the high end would be $909.27. And remember, Niles paid $280 or so for her engagement ring. That is $4,619.10 in Ghana money. So just wanted to share that little bit of info for you. So between a hotel and you know, flights and all the expenses really start to add up. Okay, I can imagine how expensive this trip cost him, and then the next trip is going to be a wedding. Yeah, so now finally we have Renee and Chidi, and I really wish that I could reach to my screen, take her, and just shake the shit out of her. Okay, I am so sick of her. I'm so sick of her bullshit pity party. I'm so sick of her yelling at Chidi and that finger. Oh, that finger. I just want to. Okay, so she's still at the Legos traveling. Okay, and she's packing. She put her flight earlier, and she text Chidi to let him know. That's what I'm trying to say, that she is going home earlier. And now he's going to come to the hotel to meet with her because he has something that he wants to say. So he's going to try one more time to speak his mind like a normal human being. Thank goodness he's bringing Victoria with him. Okay, I was so happy to see that Victoria was with him. By the way, she is MVP of the season. I love Victoria. Victoria is everything I would want in a sister-in-law. The way that she loves her brother. So anyway, Victoria is with him, and she's like, "Don't worry, Chidi, everything will be okay." She's very happy that this chapter is over for him. Okay, I don't blame her. Even though Renee is wearing a shirt that says good vibes, she was nothing but bad vibes from the moment she sat down. Trust me. Okay. She had a chip on her shoulder the size of, I don't know what. Okay. The size of Mount Everest. That's the only thing I could think of right now. Okay, she had an attitude, and Chidi was trying to be nice. He even brought her presents, guys. He brought her a dress, he brought her some jewelry, and she's like, "What do you want?" Attitude City. He's trying to talk to her, and some in like 2.3 seconds, the conversation turned left, and she called, and she was like, you're an evil person. And Chidi is like, at this point, I am really, really losing my patience with her. I have done everything I can to be kind, compassionate, have empathy for this woman, but she's a nasty bitch. He didn't say that, I did. So he turns around and he says to her, "You know something? You know when was the last time I was happy in our relationship? In the very beginning. I haven't been happy in our relationship since the very beginning." And she is like, "You're a scammer. You're nothing but a bitch to me." I'm like, "Bitch, put that finger down and watch your tone." Okay. And she's like yelling at him, "Your bodyguard is out there. Goodbye. Have a nice life." She goes storming off. Chidi is like, "I knew she wouldn't be capable of having an adult conversation, but I tried." And Victoria says, or you could know is that you tried, it didn't work, and now you have your closure. So Renee's up in her room crying. Okay. She's, "I don't understand what happened." She's about to go home. Everybody is like, "Okay, let's just wash our hands and just move. You know, you go your way, I go mine." Kind of shit, basically. Okay. So that's basically it for this week's episode. And I just wanted to share with you guys, right before I went live and I was putting together my video, I saw on Chidi's Facebook that Victoria has started a GoFundMe for him. Okay, so now it says, "Help Chidi restore his sight and empower others like him." Now, you guys know that I am a big Chidi fan, and you guys know that I'm always willing to help somebody for a notable cause. Ask me for help. I'm always willing to help. But something doesn't sit right with me about this, and I'm going to explain to you why. So, first of all, this is written by Victoria. "Hi, my name is Victoria, Chidi's sister. You may recognize us from the 90-Day Fiancé reality TV show. Thank you for taking a moment to read our story. Today, I'm reaching out for your support in a deeply personal journey, one that's rooted in hope and a desire to create a brighter future, not only for Chidi, but for countless others facing similar challenges. For most of Chidi's life, he has bravely faced the unique challenges of living with vision impairment. This journey has brought both tough days and remarkable journeys. And I'm sorry, tough days and remarkable triumphs. Through it all, we've held on to the hope of one day finding a treatment to improve Chidi's sight. Recently, we learned about the exceptional doctors and the advanced treatments available at a renowned eye specialist institute in the United States. This center could provide Chidi with life changing medical advice and potentially restore part of his vision, offering new possibilities for the future he has always dreamed of. However, traveling to the U.S. for the specialized care and covering the associated costs is beyond what we can manage alone. This is where we reach out to you, our community, friends, and family for help. Why we need your support. The funds raised through your kindness will go directly towards travel expenses from Nigeria to the U.S., including airfare and transportation, visa application fees, and medical exams required for entry, lodging and meals during Chidi's stay in the U.S., as we expect to be there for several days for consultations and tests, specialized consultation and treatment costs at UCLA's world class vision care facilities. Additionally, part of your donation will go towards the Chidi Light Empowerment Foundation for the Blind, which was founded to support other visually impaired individuals like Chidi. Chidi firsthand knows the challenges of navigating life with vision loss and wants to use his experiences, knowledge, and your support to build a community program that will provide vision impaired individuals with essential equipment, assistive technology, and solar powered clean water sources, a functioning clinic with nurses and necessary medication. The Chidi Light Empowerment Foundation serves as a vital resource to ensure no one has to feel the isolation that vision loss can bring. Our focus is to provide practical support and advocate for people like Chidi who wants to lead independent and meaningful lives. So I think that's all great and everything. And then in the next page, she explains about how he lost his vision. Now, the one thing that I do not understand, we all saw him go to a specialized eye doctor institute place in Nigeria, and where the doctor sat there and said on national TV, his eyes don't reflect light. There's tons of pressure behind his eyes, which basically means that his eye loss is irreversible. I mean, I wasn't the only one that heard that, right? It's not all just this funky stuff that I smoke, right? I mean, he went to see a doctor, and the doctor did the test and said that there was pressure behind his eyes, a high amount of pressure, and he doesn't see light at all. The nerves are gone. I mean, I'm not going crazy. So this whole concept, don't get me wrong, is fantastic. Okay, I would love it if there was some miracle out there that could reverse this all for Chidi, but it didn't sound like it. And yes, I know there's a big difference between Nigeria and the States, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. And then this whole foundation, I mean, I get it, and everybody loves a good charitable cause. But, and this is coming from me, who helped Michael with his GoFundMe and who helped Cynthia with her GoFundMe. I'm starting to feel all GoFundMe out, if you know what I'm saying. But in concept, in theory, this is all great. It just doesn't sit with me. So far, $395 have been raised, but their goal is 50K. So I don't know. And so that is basically it for this week's episode, recap and tea. I just want to say it just feels like to me that November does not have afternoons at all. It's morning until 2 o'clock, and then 4 o'clock it's nighttime. Thank you so much for watching me. Thank you, everybody in the chat, and we'll see you guys next time. Have a good night and have a great rest of your week. Bye, everybody.